So, in the last class, we had discussed about the distance vector routing algorithm. So, here the problem with the distance vector routing algorithm is first is count to infinity. That means, as we know that here the decrease in the cost propagates quickly and the increase in the cost propagates slowly. So decrease in the cost is good, which will be propagated quickly. Increase in the cost is bad, which will be propagated slowly. So for example, increase in the cost, which means if the cost becomes infinity, that happens if the link is broken, then the other routers are made aware of this after some duration of time. And it takes several updates before the cost is recorded as infinity by all the routers. That is a count to infinity problem. And second problem is a two-node loop. So this two-node loop problem is beginning nodes A and B know how to reach node X. Here you can see two-node instability figure. Here A and B know that how to reach X. Suddenly if the link fails between A to X, A changes the table. System becomes unstable if B sends its forwarding table to A before receiving A's forwarding table. Actually, A had updated the forwarding table, but here what happens is that A receives, B sends the forwarding table to A before receiving A's forwarding table. So, A receives the update here and assuming that B has found a way to reach X, updates the forwarding table. A thinks that already whatever I had sent, the information B has received, so B has found a new way to reach X and it updates the forwarding table, which is actually a wrong data. Now A sends new update to B. B thinks that something has been changed around A and it updates the forwarding table. So as a result of it, cost of reaching X increases until it reaches infinity. Then A and B know that X cannot be reached. Thus the system is not stable. Here the node A thinks that route to X is via B. Node B thinks that route to X is via A. And the packets destined for X will bounce between A and B, creating a two-node loop problem. That is what the two-node loop problem is. So the packets keep bouncing between A and B because to reach the information that the distance or the link is broken, it takes so many updates, and as a result the packet will be bouncing between A and B. And the solutions to this is we can have a split horizon a technique. So here what is done is, I'll tell you in brief, instead of flooding the table, each node sends only part of its table through each interface. That is, node A keeps a value of infinity as distance to X. Later when node A sends the forwarding table to B, node B corrects its the forwarding table and system becomes stable. So after the first update, and now both node A and B know that X is not reachable. That is a split horizon table where node A keeps the value of infinity as a distance to X, and later when node A sends the forwarding table to B, B also corrects it. And so here since the flooding is not done, each node sends only part of its table through the each interface. It is said to be split horizon. So here the instability can be removed. Next, second routing algorithm is link state routing. A routing algorithm that directly follows our discussion for creating the least cost trees and forwarding tables is the link state routing. So here the routing algorithm which follows a discussion for creating the least cost trees and forwarding table, is the link state routing. This uses link state to define the characteristic of a link that represents the network in the internet. Here in the link state routing algorithm, the cost associated with the edge defines the state of the link. Links with the lower cost are preferred to links with the higher cost. If the cost of a link is infinity, it means that the link does not exist or has been broken. So remember that the cost associated with the edge defines the state of the link here, and this uses link state to define the characteristic of a link that represents a network in the internet. So next is about the example of the link state database. So the link state database, the collection of states for all the links. You can see here, to create a least cost tree with the method, each node needs to have complete map of the network. It needs to know the state of each and every link. The collection of the states for all the links is known as link state database. So this link state database is represented as a two-dimensional matrix in which value of the cell defines the cost of the corresponding link. And there is only one link state database for the whole internet, and each node needs to have a duplicate of it to be able to create the least cost tree. So this is the link state database, which is a collection of those least cost trees. Collection of states for all the links is the link state database. For whole internet, there is only one link state database. Each node needs to have a duplicate of it to create the least cost trees. So these are represented as a two-dimensional matrix form. So as we have already seen in the first figure, the same figure is shown here, and this is the link state database. By considering each and every node in the figure as a root node, this information is filled here. If the distance or if the destination is directly reachable, that cost is entered. If it is not directly reachable, then infinity is written. Which means here, if in the link here cost associated with the edge defines the state of the links, and if the cost is infinity, the link does not exist or it has been broken. Next is about the link state parts created and sent by each node to build link state database. You can see here. So here, how each node can create this link state database? The solution is known as flooding. Here, each node sends LS packet, which is said to be link state packet, to all its immediate neighbors to collect two pieces of information. So here what happens is, to create this link state database, flooding is used. Each and every node sends some greeting messages to all the immediate neighbors to collect the identity and the cost of link for each neighbor node. That is, each node sends this link state packet to the immediate neighbors to collect the identity and the cost of the link. What is the cost between itself and the neighbor, and also which is the node which is neighbor to me, that will be found out by sending this link state packet. When a node receives this link state packet from one of its interfaces, what it does is, it compares that with the copy of it may already have. If newly arrived link state packet is older than the one it has, it discards the link state packet. If it is newer or the first one received, then the node discards the old LSP and keeps the received one. It then sends a copy of it out of each interface except the one from which the packet arrived. So here you can see here, with respect to those different nodes as the root node, these are the distances. So immediate neighbor and the cost is entered. So with respect to A, the immediate neighbor is B and D and the cost are entered. With respect to B, immediate neighbor are A, C and E. The cost is entered. With respect to C, the neighbors are B, F and G. The cost is entered. With respect to G, the neighbors are C and F. The cost is entered. With respect to F, the neighbors are C, E and G. The cost is entered. With respect to E, the neighbors are B, D and F. The cost is entered. It should be F. And with respect to D, the neighbors are A and E, and also the cost is entered. So here each router tells whole internet what it knows about its neighbor. And here one more thing that we can see is to create least cost tree for itself using shared link state database. Each node needs to run a Dijkstra algorithm, which will be seen next. So here remember that each router tells the whole internet what it knows about its neighbors. So when we compare a link state routing with the distance vector routing, which was discussed earlier, in the distance vector routing algorithm, each router tells the neighbors what it knows about the whole internet. But in the link state routing, each router tells whole internet what it knows about the neighbor. That is what happens. So it tells about the neighbors to the internet. In the distance vector, it tells the neighbor about the internet. So here we can see the Dijkstra algorithm to create a least cost tree for itself using the shared link state database. Each node needs to run this Dijkstra algorithm. So here this uses following steps. First is even based on this, a program you will be studying in the lab, where the node chooses itself as a root of the tree with respect to A. Now considering A as a root node, this algorithm is applied, and with single node, and sets total cost based on the information in the link state database. So node chooses as the root of the tree, creating a tree with the single node, and sets total cost based on the information in the link state database. So node selects one next node among all the nodes not in the tree, which is closest to the root, and add this to the tree. After this is added to the tree, the cost of other nodes not in the tree are updated because the paths may have been changed, and this will be repeated until all the nodes are added to the tree. So we can see here this example. First is the distance from the root A to all the nodes is entered. For the same diagram, for the same figure which was shown here, we can see that only B and D are directly connected. So we have only B and D values, and rest everything is infinity. To that same node it is 0. Next, now first it selects B node, which is the neighbor and which is closest root, and which is added to the tree. When B is added to the tree, by using B, which all other nodes can be connected, that will be seen. So using B, we have seen that it gives a cost of A, C and E as 2, 5, 4. So from A to B now is 2. So A to C using B, we can write it as the distance as 7. Similarly, A to using B, A to D, using B, A to E, similar way it is updated. Next, D is added. When D is added from A, B, D, if anything gets updated, it will be updated. Next is A, B, D, E. Using that, if there is a distance obtained to F, it will be updated. Similarly, it continues until all the nodes are covered. So this figure shows the formation of the least cost tree using Dijkstra algorithm. We need to go through an initialization step and 6 iterations to find out the least cost tree. So from A, this is iteration 1. First it marks only the immediate A to B. Next it is, we can see that A to D, iteration 2. Iteration 3 is using B, it is going to E. Iteration 4 is using B, it goes to C. Iteration 5 is using A, B, E, it is to F. Next is iteration 6 is A, B, E, F, it goes to G. So these are the least cost trees, those are constructed. So here we can see that in the Dijkstra algorithm, to create the least cost tree for itself, using the shared link state database, each node runs this Dijkstra algorithm. And the link state routing that we have seen uses flooding. By sending a link state packet to the immediate neighbors, it collects identity and cost of the link. And when a node receives this link state packet, it compares with the copy of may already have. Then the node checks the sequence number in both link state packet to know which one is old and discards it and keep the new one. And also we have seen that, remember these examples, whatever is mentioned here, which are said to be the weighted graphs. And for those examples, we write a link state database. For those same example here, the link state packet creation is shown. What is flooding is explained. And also by taking the same example, the Dijkstra algorithm is also explained. So remember that node diagram, which is considered to be a geographical area in which there are cities and distance between the city is shown, which is nothing but a weighted graph in an internet. So remember the figure and the cost. Cost, whichever cost you write, for that you will be showing the iterations and also you will be showing the least cost tree values. So whatever we have seen so far is, first we had started with the general idea, then we had started related to the least cost trees and the least cost path, and once the least cost tree and the least cost path was explained, then we had seen about the first routing algorithm, distance vector algorithm, in which we had discussed about the Bell-Manford equation and also about the distance vectors. And then we have seen about how the distance vectors are formed, how the updation takes place as in when the value gets changed, and we had seen the problems related to it, two-node instability. Next, we have seen in today's class about the link state routing, which uses the link state to define the characteristics of an edge, and links with the lower cost are preferred to the links with the higher cost. And this is an example of the link state database, and this is how the link state packet is created and sent out, which I have told already. And by taking this example, Dijkstra algorithm is explained, where this algorithm is to create the least cost tree for itself. Each node runs this Dijkstra algorithm, and these are the least cost trees for the same example, considering A as a root node. It has to be with respect to different root node. Different least cost trees are formed using Dijkstra algorithm. In the next class, we'll discuss about the path vector routing. And once it is done with the path vector routing, By using these three algorithms, we'll be studying about the routing protocols like RIP, OSPF and BGP, Border Gateway Protocol, BGP. So will be studied in the future classes. Thank you.